Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode we managed to close off the corridor that's up over here and get this all completely disconnected. That's a huge deal. We are very, very, very delighted about that. Of course, we've got some frontline issues here. And one thing I want to do is I want to grab these guys here and I'm going to drag this front line all the way down to there. Now, we're going to redirect the forces that are here, but we need to wait until after this army group is in position for that. And that's probably going to require cleaning up all of this. So that's absolutely fine. I've also found a couple of little areas up over here from our overflow theater that still had troops up here. I've moved them down over here at this point. So that looks good. Now, we've got these guys attacking in over here. I don't expect too much out of that. This is going pretty well. Out over here, actually. I'm going to select this army group. I'm going to issue them a new offensive line here. And I want this offensive line to be like all the way out over into, well, just out to the sea here, ultimately. Like, just go take up to here. That's going to be a little bit awkward of an order, but it's fine. Just go do that. Sure, that seems good. If we can get this down to a much narrower front, then this is much less of a concern. Now, I had noticed this. This is a big part of the reason why we're not advancing over here, but also there's a supply issue over here. Now, Alexandria is a hub here, but we can absolutely motorize here. This isn't really giving us very much supply out over this direction. Let's go ahead and build a supply hub about here, and then make sure to connect that into our existing rail network out over this way. We'll upgrade that to a level 5. Okay, something about like that. So that should make some progress there, but we definitely want these guys to just take over Alexandria. Get in here. So that seems wonderful. Now, South America is going fairly well for us, actually. And as far as all of this goes, these guys, they're trying to attack out over here, I think. I'm a little bit concerned about this situation, though. For now, it's fine. That will become a problem later once these need to be redirected. But for now, we'll just leave that be. So that seems okay. And we've got all of these guys out over here that are needing to launch attacks and get these stacked up. That is absolutely our top priority at this point. So get in here and get these guys stack wiped. We've got a lot of forces, actually, devoted to this right now, and I want to get them in here immediately. Everybody over here, get in here. Okay, so we'll work on getting those stack wiped, getting these little pockets cleaned up. So that's all fantastic. Now we're going to be working on some redeployments out over here, and I really want to grab the guys that are here and tell them, get in here and attack Odessa. Just get in here. So we'll work on bringing that back. Excellent. We're making some progress over here and making this just a lot further of a corridor, a wider corridor. That's absolutely fantastic. I don't know why we've been ignoring this up here. I mean, we're not exactly ignoring it, but we can just do something kind of like that. This is a huge problem. Why do we have no troops whatsoever up here? What's happening here? Ah. These guys were supposed to be the ones that were up here, but they're instead fighting these pockets. I see. Well, that of course means that we need to get these pockets eliminated. We're going to take losses over here while that happens. But we've got some forces that are cleaning up out over this way. So we're definitely getting those pockets dealt with. It's okay. We just need to do it quickly. Particularly this pocket. This pocket really has to go. So we need to be working on this as quickly as possible and get those stack wiped. So these guys, they're going to be a problem. They're going to try to punch down over this way, I bet, and encircle this area. We'll see what happens with that. For right now, I'm not terribly concerned about it, but it will become a significant problem later. So for now, that's definitely a thing. That was a very abrupt music change. Okay. Well, we've got 27 divisions here. We've got this, which is only 1, surprisingly. So let's bring this down to 23, and let's put most of them right there. Now we've got 4 divisions there, and I'm going to put them right there. Okay, so that seems fine for now. Now, out over this direction, we want to continue to attack here. I want you to actually attack here. There we go. We'll just hold that for now, and that'll be fine. How are things going in Alexandria? Well, we've got that very, very under control. So that seems good for now. That's going to definitely stack wipe. Now, up over this direction, how is this attack going? It's going well. They're beginning to stack wipe, so that's good. Out over here, we've got these guys right here. Get in here, finish them off. But we've got very few of these pockets left at this moment. So our forces are going to be redirecting over to the west, and that will be absolutely great. Okay, they're now redirecting. We can see most of these are actually coming out over here. So I'm hoping that, yeah, we've got forces actually defending this area now. Perfect. That's very, very good. And then this is also dealt with. So those pockets are now cleaned up, and these guys are going to get redirected. Although they're unable to find a path to their target. What do you mean you're unable to find a path to your target? Where are you trying to go? Here. They're trying to go here. Okay. I'm going to delete those. And we need to select all of these units and just assign them all to this. Now that might cause a reshuffle here, and we shall see. For the time being, I am noting these attacks up over here. That's a good sign. That's very, very good. We're going to continue to press in towards Odessa again. If we can take Odessa once more, that's going to be huge. We've just about got them pocketed off here. I want to launch an attack over this way and see if we can push these guys back into Odessa. And in the meantime, this pocket out over here, this is actually collapsing, and that seems absolutely great. Now I have a fair number of troops trapped behind the front lines over here. This is due to reshuffling, and we'll get those hopefully moved back in as we push in over on these sides. This over here is pocketed. Let's get in there and get them taken out. Okay, so that looks absolutely fine for right now. That seems good. But we've definitely got some troops behind enemy lines over here. I'm not that concerned about it at this moment. It's reasonably fine. Now then, we've got a small army group force out over here. Which one is which? We've got 2, actually. Okay, so this is Army Group 5. These are the ones that I want over here overall. So I want to get rid of these 2... No. I want to get rid of these 2 army group orders. One right here and one right here. I want this to be a singular army group out over this way. Okay, so the overflow theater is apparently lacking some orders here. Let's assign all of them except for these. What's that doing? Oh, strategic redeployment. Okay, I see. I want to not reassign these guys, but I want everyone else reassigned out over here, and these guys we can assign here. That's fine. Okay, so now we've got Army Group 8, and this is Army Group 5. This over here is Army Group 8. So we want to make sure that all of these units are assigned to this order. That'll be fine. Then we've got Army Group 2 over here. This is Army Group 5. This is Army Group 8. Or no, this is Army Group 2 here. This is Army Group 8. Noted. Okay, this is Army Group 2. Get over here. That's fine. I want these guys to launch an attack over here. Maybe not these guys, but the rest of those launch an attack here. So then we have nothing assigned out over here at this point. And this should be members of an army group. Let's see, we've got Army Group 8 here, this Army Group 2, but Army Group 2 is responsible for this entire thing. So I want to grab Army Group 8 here, I want to delete this order, and they are going to be responsible for this, for right now. That's a lot of troops down here. So they're going to come on in over here, and their goal is to just offensive line straight through here like this. An entire army group for those 2 locations. That's fine. We don't really need them in other places right now. So I want to have these guys get in here. Excellent. They're going to try to retreat here. They're going to get overrun, I think, and that's absolutely no problem. So out over this direction, there's definitely a couple of areas here that we don't control. So we're going to need to have some forces come out over here, and some forces come out over here, for sure. Out to, like, here. Yeah, they're heading up somewhere. But I want these guys to head out over here and get here, if we can. I don't know where there's a click point here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to head out over that way. This is controlled by the Communist States of America down here. So I'm going to have this tank unit come down and take over roads. Okay, so that seems good. Get in here and launch an attack down over this way. Perfect. Alexandria has fallen, and we're beginning to push in out over this direction. To that end, I want to make sure that Alexandria is fully motorized, but we're still going to have difficulty getting supplies out over here. That's not terribly surprising at this point. Okay, this front line is a problem and needs to be extended. We're just not defending out over here at all. Can we modify this front line, please? This is... What army group is this? Army group 2? Okay, so that's these guys out over here. That would explain why we couldn't edit the front line. We need to be down over here like this. So we'll get forces over to that. That'll be absolutely fine. And up over this way, do we have an issue? Potentially. We potentially have an issue up over here as well. No, we don't. Okay, that's fine for now. So we'll continue to push in over this way. I'd love to sweep down and come in over here. Now then, this army group over here. I want them to head on through over to here. And we've got forces that are going to be coming through over here, right? Like that. There we go. Yep, go ahead and attack them. That looks good. Beautiful. So we're going to get that all under control. In the meantime, I want these guys to have their offensive line now be out beyond this little area here. So basically at this border is where I want this to be. We'll go ahead and start them pushing. And this actually looks relatively undefended out over here. So that looks very, very good there. Out over this direction, we would love to see more progress being made, but Odessa is about to fall. And that means that we need to have an idea for what we want Army Group 8 to do at this point. And I know exactly what I want Army Group 8 to do. I want Army Group 8 to head in over to here and take over this front. And then we can get this pieced out and moved into various other army groups. So we're going to have these guys come on down over here, with the idea being that they are going to offensive line basically up to the Caucasus. So something about like that. But it's going to take them time to get them. So just get them on the way for right now. In the meantime, of course, we're continuing to push in down over this direction, with the idea being that we sweep in and around and knock Romania out of this war. That's the concept here. So this is all seeming very good at this point. We're struggling with this out over here, and we've got some guys behind the lines. So I want to come up over to this army group, and this army can come frontline over here. And that'll be absolutely fine. I want them to offensive line basically just like that. It's an awkward offensive line, but get in there, get that taken care of. Okay, we've got these guys over here, which are members of this army, which they're kind of struggling for now. We're going to need them to frontline right over here, and they're going to offensive line up to... That didn't actually accept. Up to there. Go ahead and execute that. There you go. Cool. And then we've got these guys down here that are currently failing to attack roads. I'd like to have, like, these units here be assigned to a front line right down over here. And their goal is going to be to offensive line into roads, like this. And they can go ahead and execute that. Okay, so there we go. That should be relatively under control. Now, we've got this pocket out over here, and I'd very much like to continue working on eliminating these pockets. So far, so good. We'll have our additional forces arriving down here soon, and these two army groups should be more than capable of getting that taken care of. We've got lots and lots of forces heading around, but they're going to take a little bit to get there, and that's absolutely fine. Let's check in on South America over here. Okay. I'm going to change these attack orders. So we're going to come out over here, and I'm going to delete both of these army group attack orders. We're now going to offensive line about here, like that. And then these guys, their goal is going to be to offensive line basically just down to about there. And they can go ahead and start executing that. But these out over here, I really want to get this taken care of. We've got a lot of forces assigned to this right now, and let's see if we can at least push them back. So let's work on that for the moment. Now, out over this direction, things are going really, really, really well for us now. Getting that army group into this area right here has paid enormous dividends for us. Oh! This fell. I bet we told those units to go somewhere else. That's okay. We'll have 2 full army groups to take that over. So that's not the end of the world. So here we go. We're definitely pushing in nicely. I want to check in on the movement position of Army Group 8 over here. So that's these guys out over this direction. We can see that basically none of those forces have arrived here yet. Okay, that's good to know. So Mykolaiv is currently being contained-ish. There's three total divisions assigned to that. That's going to take a little bit of time. But honestly, I just want to attack them. I don't want them to head out over this way. Oh, we stack wiped them very easily. Okay, cool. So that's dealt with. No problem there. So we're being reassigned out over that way. That seems good. But yeah, I did not intend to pull out of Crimea, but I think I did issue that order. So that's absolutely fine for now. Okay, so as far as all this goes, we're working on crossing into Istanbul, but we're also pushing in from this backside. And I think that we should reissue this order. This order isn't quite what I'm looking for at this time. So at this time, what I really want is to push down about like this. Ish. Sure, that'll do. There's a lot of attack up here that's happening in that order, but that's okay for now. Okay, so we need to link up these two fronts, and that is about to happen. At this point, we can part out the overflow theater. I'm actually just going to assign the entire overflow theater over here for right now, and I'm going to tell them, get in here and take traps on. We want to really start whittling these guys down. And then we'll get these switched around. That'll be fine. So we're going to get these fronts linked up, and then I want to change our offensive line orders, I feel like. Yeah, I definitely want to change our offensive line orders over here in a moment. Because we're going to want one of these army groups to end up here, and one of these army groups to end up here. And that's going to be way too many forces to attack in this narrow of a strait. But I'm hoping that we're going to be able to just make our way over fairly easily. I don't know that that's true, but that's the dream anyway. So if we can cut these off over here, I'm just letting these units move for the time being because I want to attack right here. Get in there. Oh, we're not actually adjacent. This unit should get in here, and then this unit should get in here. Yeah, that's fine. And then I want these to attack Kherson while we're doing this. Perfect. So that's now relatively cut off. We've got forces moving over this way. This is not yet a unified front, but it's very close. We can actually just move in over here, and that's fine. That unifies this front. Okay. So this front is now officially unified, and that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these guys. We're going to change their front line to end up about here. And then we're going to pull these back and focus our force up over this way. But for now, we're not in a position to do that. We need to let these guys redeploy first. So that seems absolutely fine. As far as out over here goes, it's going pretty okay. Apparently we have an army that is not assigned to an order over here. Ah. They forgot about their front line over here. Okay. So they're supposed to be doing this, and they can just offensive line like that. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, just go ahead and launch that attack there. I don't know why they forgot about their attack, but they did. So this is a pocket down over here. Get in here and eliminate that. At this point, I want these guys to start thinking about pulling back a little bit. Specifically, I want to change this front line. No. I want to change this front line. No. I want to change this front line. There we go. And I want to change that to be about up over here. So there we go. We'll get that going. And the units that are assigned to this, they'll get reassigned soon enough. But they can just make their way right on in here and clean up that pocket. Okay. These guys are making progress over here. Looks like we're going to stack wipe this pretty soon and get these units reassigned. That's fantastic. We would love to get them reassigned. So that all looks good for now. We're abandoning this area at this moment. I want to grab this entire army. And they're going to frontline here. With their goal being to offensive line directly over to Kerch. I don't know that they're going to get there. In fact, I suspect they won't. But we're just going to tell them to do that. So that looks good. And then we'll get these forces cleaned up out over here. That'll be wonderful. Maybe we can finally get this problem dealt with once and for all. Wouldn't that be nice? That would be very, very nice. Have we managed to make any gains out over here? The answer is no. Okay. We've got too many forces here. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to move these guys over to this order. And I'm going to delete that. Then we've got these guys that also need to be moved over to an order. They're going to come up over here. Okay. Something about like that. That'll get them redeployed. It'll be slightly better anyway. Trabzon is going to fall momentarily. These guys are beginning to stack wipe. Perfect. Get in here. Finish the job. As far as this over here goes, we've got a lot of forces here at this moment. But they do too. So I want to get in here, attack everything that we can. They're out of supplies. They're encircled. There's very little that they can do. So that's all looking good for the moment. As far as this goes, this isn't really the offensive line that I want at this point. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to delete this as well. We've forgotten about this order already. Can we not? Front line right here. Offensive line down to Kerch. Do it. Apparently that moved to here. Okay. I don't know why, but whatever. That's fine. So I want these guys to then offensive line, and basically I just want to cut this off over this direction like this. There we go. So we'll get going on that. That seems absolutely fine for right now, and I would absolutely love to come in right here and cut these guys off. So let's make our way on in there. Where did that tank unit go? Were they not just here? Okay, there we go. So this is now cut off, and I want these guys to get in here. Excellent. So that's looking good, and this attack is going to go well for us. We're going to continue to try to push in over this direction. After the autosave, anyway. There we go. And we just need to get this pocket cleaned up. Get in here, everybody. There we go. This is cleaned up. So this theater at this point can be parted out. We've got 14 tank units here. And where do we need tanks? Well, we need 2 tanks here. So I'm going to grab these 2, and they're going to go here. Where else do we need tanks? Well, honestly, we have a pretty good number of units around. We need 1 additional tank here, so I'm going to grab this guy. And we're going to move him up to here. But we do need a lot of infantry, so we can grab 6 of these. And they can go here. There we go. And then we need 2 additional tanks here, so we can grab these 2 tanks. They are going to go here. And then this needs 2 units of infantry. Sounds good. We'll grab these 2, and they are going to go right over here. This is an additional unit of infantry, looks like, most likely. So let's just move that right on over here. This is needing 3 units of infantry. 1, 2, 3. They're going to go right up over here. Hang on. Some of these are already assigned to that. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. I was grabbing the wrong units. That's understood. So here we need 1 unit of infantry. That's going to be right here. And then this is going to be 2 units of infantry. They are going to go here. This is going to be a tank. So this should be part of the overflow theater. We need a tank here. And then this is going to be a unit of infantry. So that is going to go right here. So that should get this all good to go, assuming we don't need any 30s. And I just want to check through here. Yeah, that all looks good. Okay. So these are all 24s, these are all 24s, these are good. So these overflow theater troops, they can honestly just kind of chill. We don't need them anywhere right now. Although eventually we probably will. We're still struggling to attack Tunis for some reason, but that's fine. What's going on here? Who are these guys? Ah, we finally finished off this, kind of. Because we still need to have these units frontline here, and then they can offensive line to here. Get in there. That shouldn't take them long. And then they can go into the overflow at that point. So that seems reasonably fine. Everything is looking pretty good here. We're in a pretty good spot at this point. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.